Hi guys, welcome back to Jurassic Collectibles. It's the holiday season and I hope you and your family and friends are all doing really well. I'm really excited to bring you some great reviews over this Christmas period, and today we're going to start by looking at the Papo Velociraptor version 2. Now I also have version 1 on hand so we can do a comparison, and I also have some other Papo dinosaurs so we can do some great scale comparisons, which I know you love. Okay, so let's get this guy out of the bag. Now many were surprised when Papo decided to release a paint variant of the Raptor, and actually the old Raptor became unavailable. Now the original Papo Raptor, as you saw just there, resembles the one that we see in the original Jurassic Park and a little bit like the one in the Lost World, but this one actually resembles more like the Raptors we see in Jurassic Park 3. Now straight out of the bag, the first thing that hits me is how dark the paint job is. It's a really sort of oily looking Velociraptor, and actually looking at some of the photographs, it doesn't appear this dark in some of the photographs, so it's just interesting to note. A wonderful sculpt as usual. Papo have done a tremendous job. I'll just show you from the front as well there, so you can see him down the snout. Very wide legs, very parted legs. And Papo have put this piece of card here to stop the arms from warping because they're made of a sort of a thinner plastic there. Okay, let's get a closer look at this guy. So, there we go. So first off, an absolutely wonderful head sculpt. Just look at all those scales. And they've sculpted in that little ridge that was in the Jurassic Park 3 dinosaurs. Now the jaw does pivot open. It's one of the only points of articulation on this Papo figurine. But just look at that detail in the mouth there. Absolutely wonderful. It's got a very dark orange eye there. And then we start with these sort of stripes that run down the body. They look almost like war paint, but obviously they're part of the skin. So as we go down the neck, we've got some really nice lines of compression here, running all the way down. Very, very nice. And then as we go down to the shoulders, you can see there's some lovely sculpted musculature. Here's their little Papo logo. This feels very skeletal down this forelimb. Very nice indeed. And also these claws. I'm a big fan of those claws. Look at that. Fantastic. Very nice indeed. And then along the back here we've got some, you can see the ribs showing through. And you can really see the paint job here. This sort of war paint that I was talking about, which is more similar to what we see in Jurassic Park 3. Now that musculature on that leg is absolutely fabulous. Look at that. I love the way it's just subtly showing through. Even here you can see all these different muscle groups. Amazing. And here as well. That's absolutely beautiful. And then here you can see the famous toe claw. And they've painted these claws in a very glossy black, so you can distinguish them from the flesh. Very nice indeed. And then the underside here, again, nicely sculpted, all of it. And then we've got the tail here, and the war paint coloration just carries on down the back of the tail there. So same on the other side. Quite a nice pose. I could say that, you know, this could be more posed. It's quite a neutral pose, but it works in the Raptor's favour because with that jaw open, it looks like, you know, it still looks really sinister no matter what pose it's in. I just think that since this raptor and the T-Rex, we've got a lot of dynamic poses from Papo, so it'd be nice to get maybe a variation on the pose for the Velociraptor. One other thing I've noticed is that you can see there's this red streak on the underside of his chin. It was quite hard to detect initially, but yeah, there it is. And also you've got some nice blues there in the lower jaw. Like I said, this is very similar to what we see in Jurassic Park 3. So they've obviously tried to match that sort of same variation, subtle variation in colours. So let's bring in the initial version for comparison. And you can see straight away how dark the colour scheme of version 2 is in comparison. We also get some really nice contrast on the initial version with the stripes, which is reminiscent of the Jurassic Park Velociraptors from the first film. So there they are side by side, and you can see they've got the same sculpt exactly. Very nice. It's just the paint job. And actually now you can't buy this from Papo, so it's a shame really. They've kind of changed the paint job. I don't know what happened there, whether they just decided they didn't like the original paint job, whether it was too simple, and they just decided to go for something a bit more complex. I don't know, but these are quite scarce now as a result. And I'm really fond of this design. I really like it. So there we have it. That's version 1 versus version 2. And like I said, I'm quite surprised this one looks a lot more oily and sort of dark than I've seen it in the photographs. So this gives you a real comparison in terms of sort of the paint job. Okay, time to do some scale comparisons. So I've got the original Papo T-Rex here. We all know and love this guy. And if you haven't got him, you can win him on the competition on the main channel page at the moment. You've got a few days left before Christmas Eve when we announce the winners, so go and enter that now. But here's the Velociraptor next to the T-Rex. And you can see the Velociraptor comes up just to about his shoulder. And I would say the T-Rex looks a little small in this case. So, you know, the Raptor could benefit from being a bit smaller. If you wanted to do the Jurassic Park fight in the Rotunda, you would have to have the Raptor being a little bit smaller, because if you remember in the film, the Raptor jumps up on the side here and is biting into his chest. So the Raptor would have to be a bit smaller in that case. But still, it's a very nice sculpt, and it's a beautiful figure. Okay, I've also got the Papo Brachiosaurus here. Now, I don't think he's going to fit in frame, because that's how big he is. Both of these other figures have been reviewed on the channel, so I'll put the links to those down below. He's hitting the tripod as well. He's ginormous. But here's the Brachiosaurus anyway. Look at those muscles on that Brachiosaurus. Oh, he is a beefcake. Amazing. Okay, so the Velociraptor next to the Brachiosaurus again comes up to about his shoulder on his front leg there. So the Velociraptor is pretty big. I think it's more a case that the Velociraptor is too big. So yeah, but I'm not complaining, because I'd rather have a bigger raptor and see all that lovely detail. So there we have it, guys. That is the Papo Velociraptor version 2 paint scheme. What do you think about this Velociraptor? Do you prefer version 1? Do you prefer this guy? I think I do. I think I prefer this one. But I still really appreciate the paint scheme, and it's lovely to have a variant of the Raptor, because they can hang out together now, and they're sort of, you know, different subspecies. So that's really cool to have that variation. Let me know your thoughts on this figure down below. In the meantime, rate and subscribe. Make sure you enter the competition on the main page, and we also have a competition on the Facebook at the moment, a separate one. So go and check that out as well. Okay guys, see you in the next video.